By popular demand, today I'm going to show you how to get all three of the Disgraced Emissary hats. Now first things first, there are three different Disgraced Emissary hats. Disgraced Gold Hoarders hat, the Disgraced Merchant Alliance hat, and Disgraced Order of Souls headband. Now these hats can all be purchased from the general clothing shop for about 183,000 gold apiece, which makes all three of them tied for the second most expensive hat in the entire game, second only to the Dark Adventurer's hat. And if you're having trouble finding them, they should be around page 28, right beside the Azir Oceancrawler set. Now these hats are interesting for a variety of reasons. The first one being they were originally added for the Reapers vs. the World event, but in this event, the players kind of got to decide which hat everyone got. So the Disgraced Gold Hoarders hat was the only one ever given out, which I think makes the Order of Souls headband and Merchant Alliance hat the only event rewards that were never given to any players. These hats are also pieces of that faction's emissary costume. So for instance, the Disgraced Order of Souls headband is actually the same headband you wear with the Order of Souls costume. Now the reason these hats are disgraced is because to get these items, you actually don't have to do anything for their faction. You actually have to actively work against the faction of the hat you want. Now each of these hats is tied to a different commendation. Once you get the commendation, you'll be allowed to buy it from the clothing vendor. Now, these commendations are basically mirror images of themselves. They're very similar, so the tips and everything will apply to all of them. Now, the commendations in question are all Reaper's Bones commendations, and they are Gold Hoarders Outshined, Order of Souls Shamed, and Merchant Alliance Ransacked. All three of these commendations require you to, as a Reaper's Bones emissary, sell 5 plundered grade 5 emissary flags of that faction. So if you want the Gold Hoarders hat, you have to sell 5 grade 5 plundered Gold Hoarders flags. Now, if you want to check your progress towards any of these commendations, go into your menu, Pirate Log, Reputation, Reaper's Bones. They should be on the second page. Now, if that commendation description doesn't make any sense to you, I'm going to go into a lot of detail here. Now, to have this make sense, I need to explain the emissary system. Now, once you reach a certain level with each of the main 3 factions, you can talk to them and buy an emissary license. This will then allow you to go up to the table in front of that vendor, vote to become an emissary, and then these 2 flags will appear on your ship. The one on the top will have 1 stripe, and the one on the back will have 1/5 of the circle. Then, whenever you do something for that faction, so complete one of their voyages, collect some of their treasure, progress one of their voyages, defeat a Megalodon, basically anything that helps that faction, this bar on the bottom left will slowly fill up. Once it fills up, you'll increase in grade and get a second stripe on your flag or a second 5th of the circle on the back flag. Every time you get to a higher grade emissary, everything you sell to that faction will be worth more gold and more reputation. Now with the emissaries came the Reaper's Bones, the risk factor to the emissaries' rewards. The Reapers will take pretty much any piece of loot regardless of who it belongs to. They'll take skulls, chests, just anything to keep it out of the main faction's hands. So that being said, the Reaper's Bones, pretty much entire deal is to hunt down and destroy other emissaries. Now when an emissary sinks, they will drop their broken flag. This flag can then be sold to the Reaper's Bones, and the higher grade it was, the more gold and reputation it'll be worth. Now for these commendations, you need to sell grade 5 flags, which are pretty tough to come across. And you need to sell 5 of them, which makes it pretty hard. Now we'll talk more about getting the flags in a second, but I do want to quickly mention you have to be a Reaper's Bones emissary when you sell the flag. Now, if you don't know how to do this, basically head to this island, the Reaper's Hideout, walk into the big spooky building and talk to this NPC, the Servant of the Flame. Then purchase an emissary license from them, and this will allow you to vote to become a Reaper's Bones emissary. You can do this at either the table in front of the Servant of the Flame, or any of the identical tables at any of the outposts. I also want to quickly mention the Servant of the Flame is the only representative of all of the Reaper's Bones, so this is the only place you can sell stuff to that faction. So after that, I'm hoping you understand what these 3 commendations want you to do. As a Reaper's emissary, collect 5 stolen grade 5 faction flags and sell those to the Reaper's Bones. 5 gold hoarder if you want the gold hoarder hat, 5 order if you want the order hat, 5 merchant if you want the merchant hat. Alright, now that we're done with the basic stuff, we're going to move on to tips. Now, very first thing you're going to do upon logging into any server is go check the emissary tables outside of the factions. Now, what you're looking for are these tiny wooden ships. Each one of these wooden ships represents an emissary of that faction on your server. So ideally, I want to find a server that has a ton of emissaries. Now, once you find a server, you kind of have 2 options. One, you can become a Reaper right away and then try and speed run to grade 5. That way you can track the other emissaries on your map. This is my preferred method, but the major drawback of this is the other emissaries might see you on their map, decide there's a Reaper and not to risk their loot and then just cash in early. The other option is kind of a more stealth mode, where you don't equip the Reaper's flag and then just run around looking for the emissary while they don't know where you are. Major downsides to this is you have no way of knowing where they are, and you don't get the bonus golden reputation. Now, regardless of which method you pick, there are a few things that can help you out here. Now, first, you're going to have to find your emissary. Now, when you're looking at a ship from far away, if it's an emissary, you'll be able to see the 2 flags from very far away. If you don't see those 2 flags, it's probably not an emissary, but there is a chance that the flags just haven't loaded in yet. Now, once you get close to the emissary, remember you're looking for grade 5 emissaries. So you're looking for ones that have either a full circle on the back flag or 5 stripes on the top flag. Also, the top flag will get longer the higher rank they are, so try and note the length. If it's a pretty short flag, then you know they're not going to be grade 5. If it's a longer flag, then it's worth checking. Also, the back flag is a different shape depending on which faction emissary they are. So if you're looking for Gold Hoarder, you want to find this one. Order, this one. Merchants, this one. And then the Athena's one looks like this, and the Reaper's Bones one looks like this. So just keep in mind which ones you're looking for. So if you can't quite make out the colors from where you are, remember the shape, and you can tell which emissary it is. Now, the next thing is it's important to try your best to defeat them before they get to an outpost, because once they get to an outpost, they can just lower their flag. All they have to do is have majority of their crew vote for it. So if you are fighting them on an outpost, try and get one of your crew members to bodyguard the voting area. That way they don't get an opportunity to lower it, or you can hold them out long enough that you can sink their ship. Keep in mind, they can vote to lower their emissary flag until their ship despawns, so make sure you protect that post for as long as you can. Now, I don't know how much this is going to help, but I will mention it. Now, this is going to help more with escaping people, but it might help with chasing them as well. Now, each of the 3 ships has the opportunity to be the fastest. It depends on wind conditions. The Galleon is the fastest ship when the wind is going directly from behind into the sails. The sloop is the fastest when the wind is going directly against your sail and your sail is flat. And the Brigantine is the fastest in any other form. So if you're chasing a sloop, if you have the opportunity to make them turn so they're going a different direction than directly against the wind, that's ideal. If you're chasing a galleon, it's best to have them not going directly with the wind. And if you're chasing a brigantine, good luck. Your only opportunity there is if you can get it to where you have the wind advantage and they don't. So ideally, you want to get to where your ship is the fastest. So if you're on a galleon chasing a sloop, you want to have the wind coming from directly behind you so you can go faster than they are. Because if you're chasing them the opposite direction, they'll be going faster than you are. So again, that'll probably help more with if you're being chased, but I thought I'd mention it. And with that, I believe that is pretty much everything. If you have any questions, you can in the comments. I'll try and answer them as soon as I can. If this video was helpful, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, that'd be great. I make these guys like this every week, so if that's something that would be interesting to you, if you would consider subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, I wish you good luck in trying to get these, because these do take quite a lot of luck and time to get. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.